Sam Roberts at Goldington Road. I've managed to catch up with Mike Rare ahead of this weekend's British and Irish Cup clash against London Welsh. Mike, a relatively tough start to 2011. Always going to be two tough fixtures. How do you think the boys have come through it?
Well, in terms of results, pretty poor. If I'm honest, well, I don't have to be honest with that. It speaks for itself. In terms of performance, not a lot better. Been really disappointed with our performances. Plenty of grunt, plenty of effort. You know, can't fault that. But really, massive lack of penetration and pressure on the opposition. We've allowed them to come at us and allowed them to boss us the last 2 weeks. Now, whilst we understand where, in terms of playing budgets, infrastructures, etc., we know we're a bit behind the eight ball with them. But in terms of personnel here, we're a little bit disappointed in what we've come up with, and I don't think in particular going to Worcester and being nilled was a little bit embarrassed, and I think we should be by that. I know they're a good side, and I know they force us into places that we didn't want to be, particularly down to their outside half. But we were the ones who gave the penalties away in the first place to allow them to do that, and we started well and we showed glimpses, but frankly it was all frills and no substance, and we've got to go somewhere over the next week, especially given the 3 games we've got ahead of us. We've got to go some way to redressing the balance and rolling our sleeves up and getting back to some honest hard work.
Teams over a course of a season, more knowledgeable rugby people than me tell me that they will always have periods where they don't play as well. In a funny sort of way, let me put it like this: would you rather have a bad performance against Worcester or a bad performance and lose against Birmingham? Does that make sense?
It may do to you, yeah. No, look, I think we're all in. I think everybody's in this situation where we look at the next game and try and win that next game. You know, we're not going to go through unbeaten. We've said that, and obviously the wheels came off against Cornish Pirates, and we were faced with a difficult week. But we always set out to win the next game, and whether it was to do with the preparation time or preparation before the game, or personal preparation as individuals, I think that's something that we've had over the week, and hopefully that won't happen again. What I will say is maybe be 2 incredibly tough games, and we knew they were coming. We haven't really rocked up there, and that's disappointing. And that's something like, on a positive side, we've not really showed our hand. And if we've got to go back to them places in the playoffs, then I'd like to think we'd be better. Well, I shouldn't say better prepared. I think we were prepared for both games. We just didn't play on both occasions as well as we know we can. So I suppose there are positives to come out of it. But look, it's nobody likes losing, and you kind of want to keep momentum. I think what I'm trying to say is, if we'd lost both games, getting our shots off and playing decent rugby, and if we'd come off losing by a point, I think we probably, or 2 points out of score here and there, I think we'd been okay. But frankly, we were second best on both occasions by a long way, which is something of a setback for us. And something, as I said, we've got to redress this week.
Because of the bad weather, we now have 3 games of British and Irish Cup rugby. Does Cup rugby allow you to sort of have a little bit more freedom, address the game to a certain extent with a little bit? Well, let me put it like this: are these cup games coming at a great time for Bedford Blues? No, I'm saying no. I'm not trying to say. I'm not trying to say do they mean anything. Of course they mean something. We want to win the British and Irish Cup, but does it come at a great time for Bedford Blues? These cup matches, this run of 3 so close together, where so much focus has to be put on to 3 games like this.
They come when they come. I mean, we can't dictate the fixture list has been set in stone. Okay, you get disruptions along the way, and have to rearrange games. Maybe it'll make the season, maybe it'll break it. Who knows? We'll certainly find out a lot about ourselves over the next couple of games. Certainly the next week. If we looked at it back start of the season, this was always a period where we were going to freshen up, so to speak, because it's a different focus for us. Now, it's not necessarily freshen up in any other way, because there's still games of rugby, you know. So, but the boys have had a bit of time off this week. Hopefully they'll have reflected on what's gone on over the last, well, since the start of the season, really, and hopefully now they come back fresh in, because they come back in fresh rather, because we've certainly got a big week ahead of us, and there will come a time in the not too distant future where we'll be picking a consistent side. I think where we've done okay so far is kept the lads relatively fresh in terms of the changes we made from week to week. But we're coming to that business end of the season before too long, where we won't be making too many changes. And now, with all 30 players effectively going to be involved over the next few weeks, there's a chance for somebody to stick their marker down, like a Robin Boot, who's not really had a chance to impress so far. You know, like a Sean Toombs, who's going to get a couple of games in a row under his belt and hopefully improve as a consequence. So, you know, there are chances for people there now, and I'd like to think the challenge we set out for them this week will be exactly that. They'll want to keep that jersey between now and the rest of the season.
It must be a nice opportunity to go on to have these games on the down in Wales on the Wednesday and the Friday night, to get the boys together for a concentrated period of time. That must be a little bit of a gift in a funny sort of way.
Yeah, it is. I feel positive about it. I'm really looking forward to going back to Wales, and you know, two new places for a lot of our guys to go and experience. And I think it could be a positive one for us. What we've got to make sure is we do the business on Saturday and don't look too far ahead. London Welsh presents another tough test. They're in the top three in the championship, and you know, we were relatively lucky against them in the league game, and they got a big strong squad. And then, you know, if we do the business on the weekend, we can look forward with some confidence to Neath and Swansea. Yeah, I mean, it's a big week, and for all of us, you know, I think we're all under pressure. It's not just the players, and we're all in this together, and we've all been hurt in the last 2 weeks. So, you know, as I say, I don't think I've ever been afraid of losing. Perhaps the manner of defeat sometimes hurts more than the performances, because you know, we've all been there and given our all and lost by a point or two, and I think we can accept that, providing we've given everything to the cause. What I will say is, we won't go to a place like Worcester and Pirates and make and get a win if we make as many basic errors as we made. We actually didn't lack for a huge amount of possession, particularly against Worcester. We had a lot of the ball, but they just showed to us in no uncertain terms with their efficiency and they were so clinical. When they got inside our 22, inside our half, and they just made sure they came away with points, you know, and it was pretty hard to swallow, because as I said, we were plenty of frills there, but we're no end product, and you know, we made a couple of line breaks, but they were all from desperate positions from deep, and we just didn't have enough guile or power, if you like, to finish them opportunities off. So yeah, we're reeling a bit from that, I'll be honest with you, and we've got to, you know, no one else to look at but ourselves, and I don't think we're quite in a hole, but it set us back, and now we've got to get back on the horse on Saturday and make sure we get the right performance, which will lead to the result.
Finally, looking at Saturday, many people will see it as a cup match, but these are two sides who have been up against each other many times over the last few years, and I have a feeling that there is going to be a lot riding on this match. Not just the cup, but there's a fair few sort of bits to sort of get through. We played them on TV and won, and I'm sure they'll be hurting. And obviously, as you say, from last weekend, we've got to right a fair few wrongs. It's going to be a really great occasion on Saturday afternoon, I think.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, we're going to do our level best to prepare and make sure we're ready to go. There's lots of history between the two clubs, not only previous but in the recent past. They've always been close games, and you know, they've won a couple of times here, and we've won a few times down their ground. So hopefully, home advantage will tell on the weekend. But what we can't do is just rely on our home form to get us through between now and the end of the season. We still got away from home. We're still going to have to go away from home in the playoffs. But first and foremost, as you say, let's look forward to Saturday. I think the lads are ready to get back out there now and put in a decent performance and perhaps take a few frustrations out of the last 2 weeks.
Well, good luck, and I wish you all the best for Saturday.
Cheers, Sam.